All right, so the semester is about a month in now for college students, and could your kid, who was so excited to move out and get away, maybe actually be feeling homesick right about now? Christopher Thurber is a clinical psychologist at Phillips Exeter Academy. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Sorboni.
Now, Chris, you also co-wrote an article in the American Academy of Pediatrics, all about preventing homesickness. Right. My first question off the bat is, do kids actually admit that they're homesick? Do they come out and say it, or a parent has
It's
to
a really
notice?
normal thing.
Good.
And almost everyone misses something about home when they're away. So homesickness is the distress or impairment that comes from an actual or anticipated separation from home. Only about 1 in 5 students at boarding school or university really wrestle with strong feelings of homesickness, but they do talk about it. And one of the most important things to know is that it's normal. That alleviates a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, so you don't feel like, oh, all my friends seem to be fine. Why am I the one who wants to call home and misses things about it?
Exactly.
On that note, what are some things that parents need to clue in on? When are you calling home too much? When is it taking away from the experience that your child's supposed to be having?
Well, so we all want students to be happy and healthy and to graduate, and students who are severely homesick are 3 times more likely to drop out of school. So we want to do everything we can do to alleviate those intense feelings of homesickness. You'll always miss something, but parents should look out for symptoms of depression or anxiety. Lots and lots of contact with home can eclipse the opportunity to make friendships in the new environment. So students need to balance some supportive contact with home with immersing themselves in the boarding school or the college or university. The more they get into school life, the more they make friends in the new environment, the less homesick they'll feel.
Now, what are some ideas that parents could suggest if they have a feeling that their child is just not quite settling in so quickly? Can you say, hey, you loved theater, you loved soccer, go join this club? Right,
exactly. I think that social connection is a wonderful antidote to homesickness. And so joining clubs, doing activities, doing sports, plugging in. And for international students, it's even a bit more of an issue because they need to balance making friends from the host country with the friendships they have from their home country. So if you're from Australia, you want to make some connections with some of the Australian students at your school, but also make friends with students from other countries, because that'll form a nice connection balance for you.
Right, you don't want to isolate yourself to everyone who has the same cultural background necessarily, because then you're not really getting involved in the whole campus feel.
And the connections with home are easier and less expensive than they ever were. So Skype or email or texting, and you can overdo that. And daily contact with home is fine, but hours and hours is going to, as I said, eclipse this opportunity to make social connections in the new place. And so the more that students are feeling like they're making a contribution to this novel environment, to this new school, the more ownership they feel over the experience, the better their adjustment.
Now, what about a student who might not actually realize that they are homesick, and how they, if they're listening right now, could say, okay, I'm feeling anxious, I don't want to go to class, I don't like those girls at that table, and how to identify in themselves, okay, wait, am I just not adjusting to life? What can I do to fit in a little bit?
That's a great question. They should ask themselves, what connections have I made in this new place, and what efforts can I make to make those connections, or what activities could I do that would bring me some joy? They also should consult with whoever the mental health professionals are on campus, right? Any boarding school or college or university is going to have a health services with psychologists or clinical social workers. They need some help distinguishing between normative feelings of distress and something which has really crossed the line into a domain where professional support would be the best thing. And they can get some help figuring that out.
And as far as when it crosses into a danger zone, what are some things where a parent needs to intervene immediately, not just say, okay, let's talk, or come home for the weekend, but truly, my child's getting depressed?
So really withdrawn behavior, not going to class, obviously any expression of suicidal thoughts or I want to come home right away. That's something that parents should take very seriously. Never, call your child's bluff. Coordinate with their advisor or the mental health professionals on campus to try to distinguish between what is normal feelings of missing home and what's really crossed the line into something more significant. Exactly.
And then maybe some preventative measures ahead of time. It might be too late right now if somebody's already, in the throes of homesickness, but, before you start the semester, maybe finding places with your kids that would be like home, or a restaurant that they could like, or exploring the activity options together.
Yes, you're exactly right.
Are those things that you could do even now?
Yes, and Parents' Weekend is probably coming up for a lot of boarding schools and colleges. The worst thing that parents could do would be to make a pickup deal and say, well, when we come and visit you, if you feel like coming home, just come home with us. We'll come and get you. I think that what students need to hear is a uniformly positive message of confidence and optimism. They need to hear their parents say, I know that it hurts, I know there are things you miss about home, but I also know that you can do this. Right?
Absolutely. So a lot to think about.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So if anybody's getting those calls from their kids right now,
It's
then
normal.
get some ideas. All right. Thanks for being with us
Thanks,
this morning.
Sorboni. Yeah.
All right. We'll be right back.